Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. This video is kind of another update video on the channel. I want to cover some Halo questions I have been asked. That's the first thing I'm going to cover because I know my regular viewers are those that are into Halo modding. Second thing I want to cover are my future plans for the channel. And when I mean future, I mean kind of near future, my goals for the channel. And then the third thing I want to cover is my health situation. So let's just get into it. The Halo modding questions I have been asked, these are all from comments from my videos. Now these comments that these questions I'm addressing were asked at a time when I was really sick and away from the channel, so I did not get the chance to see them until much later. Really only until recently did I notice them. And I usually like to respond to questions in the comments, but since I missed these, I felt that I wanted to kind of answer them in video form. So the first question I have is from my editing existing rigged models video. This question is from Lily, who says, I have removed all 7,410 vertices, but the software still selects a single polygon. My guess is that you may need to turn up the distance when merging vertices. There is kind of an option there, in like the panel where you can turn up or down the tolerance when merging vertices. Now, since Halo models tend to be gigantic, my guess is that you would need to turn them up. However, you don't want to turn them up too far because then vertices that are not meant to be merged will start merging together, and you just want to kind of find that sweet spot. I would also make sure you are pressing the L key to select linked instead of clicking on the polygons. That could just be something there. And this kind of goes into an idea I've had of making a general Blender tutorial series in the future, and I would be making it for complete beginners just so everybody's on the same page. However, there's already really good resources out there for learning Blender anyways. And I don't know if kind of throwing my own series out there is worth it, because again, there's just so much out there that for all skill levels of Blender for learning. But if my audience expresses interest in something like that, then I would definitely consider making a Blender tutorial series on this channel. Now, the Blender tutorial series that I would make would be centered around using Blender for game development and game modding. I wouldn't go into the more in-depth animation stuff like drivers unless people really wanted me to. The next two questions I have are from my first importing animations tutorial video, the one it is outdated in a few places, but the first question I have is from Freddy Wondercat, who asks, oddly enough, after deleting the base armature for the mesh and setting the correct prefix to the animation armature, Blender still wouldn't deform the mesh properly to the animation armature. Do you know of any workaround, or is there perhaps something I'm missing? The most important thing I would advise doing is definitely making sure that the vertex group names match the names of the bones exactly. They have to be the same. That is kind of how skinning for bones and armatures works in Blender. Yeah, definitely just make sure that the vertex groups and the bone names match exactly. You may also just need to reparent the armature to the mesh. That should just refresh kind of the relationship between the armature and the mesh, just to kind of reset things back up. And again, this kind of goes back into, I just might make a Blender tutorial series if my audience would really like something like that. Next question is from Rhino Mods. Is there a way to batch rename bones for a folder of JMA files? I'd rather not go through 100 plus files and do the same bone prefix name for each one. Is there some kind of repeat action in Blender? Unfortunately, not that I know of. Actions do not really carry over between different blend files. You can copy and paste nodes and stuff like that. You can, of course, duplicate things in Blender, but other than appending something from one blend file to the other, there isn't really any way to kind of copy things from one blend file to the other, and in your case, appending things would not really help you. Something like what you're wanting would probably have to be done with an external program, but I don't know if such a thing exists. I'm just saying, you know, that would, again, probably have to be done with an external program, which probably does not exist. So, sorry about that. The final question is from my custom weapon icons and HUD messages video. This question is from Dimitri, with a last name that I will not attempt to pronounce. They say, do you know if this method to replace or add strings works for Halo 2? When I play the standalone version, all the icon text works, but when I compile the map, play it, it doesn't work. It's like the changes don't affect it. I have tried replacing the fonts in the game folder with the fonts from the Halo 2 editing kit folder, but no luck. Well, as far as I know, you did everything correctly. Probably something I should have done was to compile my maps myself and see if it carried over. I really only just tested things in Sapien and in the Halo editing kit, which I know the editing kit is different from the retail Master Chief Collection version, and I definitely should have tested things on the MCC side. Now, that being said, with the, I can't remember what it's called, but the new tool that you publish mods to the Steam Workshop with, that might have fixed things. I don't know for sure, but I think the workflow for some things might have changed there, and that might have helped. That might have fixed things. Probably the most important piece of advice there I would give is just try to compile your maps and stuff again, and then try publishing it to Steam Workshop. Now, you can unlist your mods so other people don't see it, I'm pretty sure, but with that new mod tool program, that might have fixed things. But again, that's not something I've tested, so I'm not entirely sure. One other thing, now I'm sure you've already tried this, but just in case you haven't, I would just make sure that you've compiled the map with your tag and are picking up the right weapon. That's just the simple thing there, kind of the have you turned it on and off and back on again sort of advice there. But yeah, sorry about that. Alright, that does it for the Halo modding questions. I want to go over my near future plans and goals for the channel. The first one being, I want to stream my process of making my Famine map pack. The Famine map pack that I am working on is a 3 map pack for Halo 3. I kind of have an idea of making multiple map packs for Halo 3, but they're going to be spread out across a large period of time probably. And for each map pack, I would like to include a big team battle map, a smaller scale map, and then a miscellaneous or forge canvas map. Now for the Famine map pack, I really only have the big team battle map figured out. I'm still debating on the small team map, and the Forge Canvas map I have not really touched on at all, but the big team battle map I want to do is a remake of Relic from Halo 2 and remaking it for Halo 3. I was originally going to do Death Island, but I still, from Halo 1, Death Island from Halo 1, but I still don't know how I want to adapt it for Halo 3. So I already started streaming my Famine map pack, and I was working on Death Island, but I'm going to save Death Island for another time. Death Island may be the Forge Canvas map because Death Island is gigantic, but I'm probably going to save Death Island for a big team battle map in a later map pack, because I'm still debating on how I want to kind of retrofit that into Halo 3. Now, my streaming schedule is not going to be regular. I might stream 2 days back to back. It may be a week until I stream again or whatever. It just depends on how I'm feeling physically, because I'm still recovering from this illness that I've had for over a year. And I'm also busy with family things that take up most of the day each day. So I do not have a set streaming schedule because my real life schedule is just hectic right now, and probably will be for the next few months. That being said, though, days that I am free and I am feeling well, I do want to stream. The other thing I want to do for this channel, and this will probably come after I finish Relic in my Famine map pack, I do want to do a tutorial series on creating a multiplayer map completely from scratch, start to finish, for Halo 3. And that tutorial series will cover pretty much everything you need to know. It'll cover what you need to know, how you need to build and structure your multiplayer map in Blender, getting it carried over, setting up shaders, painting the terrain, controlling the audio with clusters. So that would be, for example, like having an echo inside of a building and then going outside and not having an echo, that kind of thing. So I would have a complete tutorial series on creating a multiplayer map for Halo 3. Again, that will probably come after me finishing Relic for the Famine map pack. And then after I do the multiplayer map series, I would like to do a tutorial series on creating custom weapons for Halo 3 start to finish. And that tutorial series will cover examples including melee weapons, such as the energy sword and gravity hammer. It'll also cover dual wielding weapons, and then it'll also cover standard single-handed weapons as well, like your typical battle rifle or DMR or whatever. And then whatever other things that I feel like I need to include in that series, I will do that. But the custom weapons series will come after the multiplayer map series, just because I have a general idea of what I want to do for the multiplayer map series, but I'm still figuring out things as far as custom weapons go for Halo 3. Now, the final thing I am kind of debating on doing for the channel is Minetest modding. And if you don't know what Minetest is, it's basically an open source, free voxel game engine, very similar to Minecraft, but it's very open-ended, where you can really customize it and do things. And I've been kind of dabbling in it for the last several months. I've known about Minetest for probably a few years now, but it really has caught my attention in the last several months, and I've been kind of playing around with it. And Minetest is definitely something I feel like more people should know about, and I feel like there needs to be a lot more attention on it. Now, that being said, Halo modding will always take priority over Minetest modding, or I don't imagine me doing other game modding, but Halo modding will always take priority. But Minetest is something that I find really neat, and I just think there needs to be more resources on. There needs to be more attention put onto it. It's just something I've kind of thought about doing, so... I also wanted to announce that I have started a gaming channel. You can find the gaming channel link in this channel's page. Basically, the gaming channel right now, as I am recovering, is basically just for Halo gameplay, whether it be mods for the Halo games, or I am trying to beat all of the Halo games on heroic difficulty without dying, which is a lot easier said than done, and I am stuck on Halo 2 and Halo Reach and Halo 3 for the moment. I did complete Halo Combat Evolved and Halo 3 ODST, but the other Halo games are going to take some time. But in the future, I do want the channel to be me and a friend playing through all of the games in our collection and talking as we're playing. I guess you could kind of say similar to the Game Grumps, but it's going to be in our own style. But that's going to be for longer down the road, after I have fully recovered, hopefully, from this illness. So go subscribe to the gaming channel for Halo mod gameplay, for again, me trying to not die on heroic difficulty and the vanilla Halo campaigns, and maybe for some Call of Duty gameplay as well. And when I mean Call of Duty, I mean the classic Call of Duty games. That kind of goes into my current plans and goals for the channel. The final thing I want to touch on is my health situation. Now, if you've been following my channel for the past year and a half, you'll know that my health situation has been kind of grim. But I have been improving, and the medical tests support that. So back in February of 2021, November 8th of 2021, I got really sick, just out of the blue, don't know what happened, and I never got better. But in February of 2022, I was diagnosed with a scary disease called gastroparesis. Gastroparesis affects people differently. Sometimes people will have gastroparesis and aren't even aware that they have it because it doesn't really affect them. Other people will have complete, fully dysfunctional stomachs and cannot eat orally and have to have surgery to get a feeding tube installed, which is just scary. And I was diagnosed with gastroparesis back in February of last year, but my test results were very borderline. My test results back in February of 2022 is that, well, let me just explain how the test goes. So, for the test, they have you ingest a radioactive isotope, or a radioactive material, I guess I should say. And they they take basically screenshots of your stomach, kind of seeing how your stomach empties over the course of 4 hours. So at 0 minutes, meaning right after you eat, you should have 100% of the contents in your stomach still there. Now at 60 minutes, or 1 hour after I ate, I had 84% still in my stomach. Normal range is 37 to 90%, so I was kind of in the upper part of that, but still in normal range. After 2 hours, I had 52% still in my stomach. Normal range is 30 to 60%, so still kind of upper, but normal range. At 3 hours, I had 27% still in my stomach. The rest has gone into my lower intestine. Normal range is 10 to 29%, so I was kind of reaching that higher level. And then at 4 hours, I had 13.8% still in my stomach. And normal range is 0 to 9%, so I had exceeded the normal range for stomach retention, meaning that I could have gastroparesis. Gastroparesis is a very weird disease. Not a lot is known about it. If you're below normal retention levels, you have something called dumping syndrome. Anything above normal range is gastroparesis, where your stomach just isn't emptying fast enough. And because gastroparesis is a disease that is not very well known about, I decided to enter a research group conducted by National Institute of Health in researching about gastroparesis, kind of helping doctors better understand the symptoms of it, better understand the prognosis of gastroparesis. Just the only thing, basically what this research group is not about finding treatments or cures for it. It's just trying to study how the disease affects somebody and how it progresses or degresses over time, if degress is a word. So I had my initial test in February of 2022, and just last month I had my first annual test as part of the research group. But one thing I should point out is that for my first test, my results were so borderline normal. I had some doctors tell me that I did have gastroparesis. I had some that said that they didn't think I had gastroparesis at all because my results were basically 90% normal. Like, they were just borderline normal. So it was a real struggle to really figure out what was wrong with me. And we still don't 100% know for sure, but I think we have it figured out. But with this gastroparesis research group, you have the same test done every year for, I think, 4 years. So I'm going to have like 2 more tests done, 2 more gastric emptying tests done, I think. And I just had my second one done last month, and the results were this: 0 minutes, 100%, that's normal. After 1 hour, I had 49% in my stomach, and again, normal range is 37 to 90%. So not only am I in the normal range, but I was actually kind of I was a lot more normal than my original 84%. At 2 hours, I think I was at 22%, and I think normal range is 30 to 60%, so my stomach was actually emptying faster than normal. At 180 minutes, or 3 hours, I was at 12%, and normal is 10 to 29%. And then at 4 hours, I was at 9%, and normal range is 0 to 9%. So I was pretty much at normal retention. So I had that test last month, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I just had a good day. But I talked to my doctor. I went to my doctor, who is one of the leading doctors in the country on gastric motility, and he just told me that I don't have gastroparesis. The tests that they've done on me do not indicate that I have gastroparesis, so I am very thankful for that. So I'm kind of in the clear for that scary disease. So what is causing my sickness? Well, we did figure out I am lactose intolerant. I took a test to see how my body, my intestines, and my stomach see how they reacted to lactose, and it did indicate I have lactose intolerance. So I've been off of milk for, I would say, close to a year. I'm still sick. So I decided to go off of gluten because we did some tests for celiac disease and gluten intolerance, and my genetics did indicate that I had, or my blood work did indicate that I had the genetics for developing celiac disease, and that my white blood cell count was elevated. But the white blood cell count being elevated could mean anything. In the context of the test, celiac disease is kind of an autoimmune disease where your body attacks itself when you eat gluten, when you ingest gluten. But I had a biopsy done, and it did not indicate I had celiac disease. Now, I could still have a sensitivity to gluten, and I think I do, because I've been off of gluten for over 6 months, and during that time I have accidentally had gluten, and all the times I have accidentally had gluten, I have had diarrhea, and I have not felt well. Or I have felt worse after eating gluten. So we're not totally certain if gluten triggers me or not, but I'm just gonna stay off of gluten because I've had it so bad that, you know, I'm kind of okay if I just don't have gluten. One more thing we are looking at, and I do have a new medicine for it that hopefully will resolve things, is that my doctor and I think that I just have really bad, severe, uncontrolled reflux that is causing me stomach pain, causing me nausea, and just a whole lot of other things. I have noticed that I do have really bad reflux when I eat. It seems like the food that I eat just wants to come back up, which is not in a vomiting sort of way, but in like there's just nothing keeping my food down, which is a symptom of reflux. The doctor I go to, again, like I said, he is one of the leading doctors in the country for gastric motility, and he's a very seasoned veteran of gastric diseases, gastrointestinal diseases, and he said that a lot of the symptoms I have, you know, when we think about reflux, we think of the burning sensation like heartburn, but in his experience, reflux can take on all these other symptoms like general stomach pain, nausea, vomiting, and so he put me on a new medicine that he said it's his favorite medicine for reflux. I'm actually suffering from reflux right now. It's kind of hard to talk, but yeah, we talked about it, and he said, yeah, what it sounds like to me is you just have very severe reflux, where it can be hard to talk for extended periods of time. It can, when you yawn, you gag, that kind of things. Like, gagging and reflux has just been terrible for me, so we're basically waiting. It's going to take up to 6 weeks to really figure out if this medicine works, and after those 6 months we'll try to figure out what to do. If it worked, then I don't know if he wants to keep me on it or if I'm okay to go off of it. We'll just see after 6 months. If it doesn't work, I don't know. I hope it works, because I have been suffering for over a year, and I am just ready to put this sickness behind me. I'm just ready for it to be gone. Again, I've had improvements, and my doctor has said that over this period of time your body has been trying to heal itself, with or without medicine, and hopefully this medicine will just expedite the healing process and I can just kind of get back to my life. Because this sickness that I've had has been really debilitating, and just hoping that this medicine works. And yeah, I can't say that I think it'll work because I've had so many doctor appointments and so many medicines I've tried that have just not worked. This has really kind of this whole situation has just kind of made me very cynical about the human body and about health. So I am keeping my expectations tempered, but at the same time I am hoping that this medicine works. So yeah, that'll just about do it for this video. There's my health situation. Watch out for future videos, especially Halo modding. I do want to make a full return to Halo modding. Watch out for streams. Again, my streaming and upload schedule will be sporadic just because some days I'll just feel too sick to do it. Other days I may just be way too busy with other life stuff. But yeah, just stay tuned, and I hope this video kind of answered some of your questions. I hope to see you around for the future videos and for the streams, but until next time, just take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.